Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. Social Security recipients will be getting a raise next year. That's according to the Social Security Administration, who made the announcement Wednesday. There will also be other changes for 2014. News2's Erica Parsons has more.
Nearly 63 million people who receive Social Security will see a bump in pay next year. The Social Security Administration announced today that monthly Social Security and Supplemental Security Income Benefits, or SSI, will go up by 1.5% in 2014. It's the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, and more than 57 million Americans who receive Social Security will see that increase beginning in January. SSI beneficiaries will start to see that boost on December 31st. There are more than 20,000 people across the territory who receive Social Security benefits, and the increased wages for them means higher taxes for some people. There are a number of other changes taking place in January, and those changes are based on how much average wages go up. Based on those numbers, the maximum amount of earnings subject to Social Security tax will jump nearly 3%, up from $113,700 to $117,000. Of the more than 160 million Americans who are expected to pay Social Security taxes, about 10 million will pay more because of the increase in the taxable maximum. Based on the new COLA, the estimated average monthly Social Security benefits in January will be $1,294. For an aged couple who both receive benefits, that amount will be $2,111, and a widowed mother with 2 children will receive $2,622. An aged widower will receive $1,243, while a disabled worker spouse and 1 or more children will get $1,943. All disabled workers will get $1,148. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, for complete details on all the changes for 2014, visit www.socialsecurity.gov. The Washington County, Minnesota Sheriff's Office is still investigating the case surrounding former Juan Louis Hospital CEO Jeff Nelson's death. Officials said Wednesday they are still waiting on the results pending the medical examiner's report. Nelson was found shot dead in his home last Tuesday. He had been serving as the president of Northwestern Health Sciences University since April. Prior to that, he had served for 2 years as the chief executive at Juan Louis Hospital before resigning the post in January. The Virgin Islands Casino Control Commission and the Office of the Governor today issued a press statement confirming that the Virgin Islands Internet Gaming and Internet Gambling Act is legal. Governor John P. DeYoung Jr. said Wednesday this marks a turning point in the diversification of our gaming industry from land-based casinos and racinos to internet gaming and gambling. The implementation of this act will fulfill our mission of attracting very successful global internet gaming companies to the Virgin Islands and encourage new investments to our struggling economy. Also in other news, the governor also responded to issues raised by Senate President Sean Michael Malone regarding the resubmitted Hovenza Fourth Amendment Agreement and a letter of clarification. Earlier, the Senate President requested that the clarifying language be inserted within the proposed agreement and be resubmitted as a revised agreement. The governor responded saying that it would be redundant to do so and that it would be placing form over substance. The governor also stated that this action would yield no legal benefit and would only unnecessarily delay the sales process. Attorney General Vincent Frazier and one counsel for Hovenza stated that the Fourth Amendment Agreement and the letter of clarification were fully enforceable under Virgin Islands law. Police on St. Croix are investigating 2 separate burglaries. In both cases, a suspect entered into the victims' homes while they were present, but no one was injured. On October 28th, the LBJ Gardens, a resident said she was awakened by a noise and noticed that the window screen was pushed in and her car keys were missing. And then on October 27th at the Orange Grove Villas in Christiansted, a resident was awakened by her minor daughter who was screaming that someone was in the house, according to police. The victim told police that her money and keys were missing from her purse. Both cases are being followed up by the Criminal Investigation Bureau. Well, a solemn ceremony was held by the Virgin Islands National Guard as the body of U.S. Army Sergeant Lyle Turnbull arrived from Dover Air Force Base on St. Thomas Wednesday at the Cyril King Airport. He died October 18th while serving in Kuwait. Service members and veterans received their comrade as he was returned to the territory and to his family during the honorable transfer ceremony. It is the moment the flag-draped casket is removed from the aircraft to an awaiting hearse. Delegate to Congress Donna Christensen expressed condolences last week, especially to his wife, Neslian, and children, his parents, Delita Farrington, Francis and Randolph Turnbull, and his friends and fellow soldiers at their time of sorrow. Congresswoman Christensen said, "Our young men and women voluntarily put themselves in harm's way in service to our country, and we consider them to be our greatest heroes." According to the U.S. Department of Defense, Sergeant Turnbull died from a medical emergency, and his death is under investigation. According to a fellow comrade, Turnbull died at the Camp Arafan while participating in the Army 10-mile Shadow Run. He was assigned to the 62nd Expeditionary Signal Battalion, 11th Signal Brigade, Fort Hood, Texas. Sergeant Turnbull was a 2000 graduate of Charlotte Amalie High School. According to Davis Funeral Home, the memorial services will be at 10 a.m. Saturday, November 2nd at Church of God Prophecy across from the Home Depot entrance. And condolences to the family. Well, there are a few Halloween events that will be occurring during the remainder of the week on St. Thomas. On October 31st, Stars Nightclub will be hosting their Angel and Demons costume party from 10 p.m. until. Also on October 31st, Club Capri will host their costume party at 10 p.m. There will be a happy hour special from 7 p.m. to 10. Now on November 1st, Fat Turtle also jumps in, presenting the last Halloween costume party from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And First Fridays at the Buddha Sushi Bar will host their Halloween special. That's also on November 1st. $10 gets you in before 12 and doors open from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Now over on St. Croix, the Pirates Tavern will host a spectacular Halloween party that starts at 8 p.m. with the best costume contest beginning at 10 p.m. Well, with that in mind, we are one day away from Halloween, and Police Commissioner Rodney Carrard Sr. urges the community to be safe over the weekend. He also wants to remind everyone that unlawful activities will not be tolerated, and anyone observed pulling Halloween pranks will be prosecuted according to law. News2's Shanika Robinson has the details.
As some residents observe Halloween, Police Commissioner Rodney Carrard Sr. asked the Virgin Islands community to be safe over the weekend.
Police Commissioner Rodney F. Carrard Sr. advises the public that police will be out in force throughout the territory as Halloween activities continue through the weekend. The commissioner said, "We intend to do all we can to ensure the public's safety."
The commissioner mentioned that in the past years, some students have thrown objects at school buses or other vehicles on the last day of school before Halloween, and as a result, he is sending this strong message to the youth and their parents. Parents are also reminded that there is a 10 p.m. curfew for minors under the age of 16. Minors violating the curfew will be taken into custody by police and held until he or she is released to a parent or guardian. Commissioner Carrard also issued a warning to adults and teenagers celebrating Halloween by wearing masks that conceal their faces.
In light of the recent incident on St. Croix, where officers confiscated 2 replica firearms and a genuine firearm from a group of males dressed in Halloween costumes, Commissioner Carrard said the public will see an increased police presence.
The commissioner said traffic enforcement officers will monitor the territory's road and highways for impaired drivers.
He urged the motoring public not to drink and drive, to have a designated driver, always wear their seatbelts, and pay attention to the road and your surrounding area at all times.
Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
Commissioner Carrard also mentioned that it is not an offense to wear a mask. However, some people will use masks as cover for their criminal behavior. Therefore, the public is advised to take off any masks when on the streets. Secretary Kathleen Sebelius faced lawmakers angry and frustrated with the launch of healthcare.gov. A growing number of Republicans have called for her to step down, but she said she'd see to it the website is fixed by the end of November. Danielle Nottingham reports from Capitol Hill.
Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius says computer specialists are working 24/7 to get healthcare.gov working properly.
You deserve better. I apologize.
Sebelius blamed the slowness of the site on problems with a Verizon server, but said she was ultimately responsible.
I am as frustrated and angry as anyone.
CBS News obtained this internal government memo from September 27th. It discusses incomplete security testing on the website, but still recommends an October 1st launch.
You have exposed millions of Americans because you all, according to your memo, believed it was an acceptable risk.
Secretary Sebelius says the memo authorizes further security testing and consumer information is secure. President Obama traveled to Boston to defend his signature health care law. He pointed to the slow start in Massachusetts when the state successfully reformed its health care back in 2006.
And today, there is nearly universal coverage in Massachusetts, and the vast majority of its citizens are happy with their coverage.
The president promised the problems with healthcare.gov will be fixed. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And keeping our eye on the economy, there is proof today that the recent 16-day government shutdown slowed an already weak job market. A private payroll survey shows U.S. businesses added just 130,000 jobs in October and revised its numbers for September lower. We'll get a broader picture of the labor market November 8th when the government releases the October unemployment report. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow 61, NASDAQ 21, S&P 8. For most Americans, daylight savings time will end with a fallback to standard time on Sunday, November 3rd at 2 a.m. Most states sprang forward an hour to begin daylight saving times on Sunday, March 10th. But the federal government doesn't require U.S. states or territories to observe daylight savings time, which is why residents of Arizona, except for residents of the Navajo Indian Reservation, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, and the Northern Marianas Islands, won't need to change their clocks this weekend. However, come Monday, your television programming times will change once again. Ellen will now be seen from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. News 2 will still be seen weeknights at 7 p.m., but it will now re-air at 12 a.m. the same night and 2 p.m. the following day. CBS Evening News will remain at its usual time of 7:30 p.m., The Late Show with David Letterman at 12:35 a.m., and The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson at 1:37. The St. Croix Bureau of Corrections will be spreading holiday cheer to a number of children when they introduce the first ever Shop with a Cop initiative this Christmas. It's a program to help deserving children have a happy Christmas while they bond with law enforcement officers. Representatives from local agencies met to talk about the event that is scheduled in December, and they need the community's help to fund the project. Organizers are looking for donations in the amount of $100 or any amount that can be given. Shop with a Cop will target students between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. You can contact the Bureau of Corrections for more information. Bull and Bread Day, Liberty Day, and D. Hamilton Jackson Day that will be recognized on Friday. St. Croix residents will honor the memory of D. Hamilton Jackson and then dine on the traditional bull and bread at the Grove Place Park, which bears a bust of Jackson. Speakers will recount Jackson's legacy as an educator, journalist, judge, politician, and November 1st marks David Hamilton Jackson Day or Liberty Day. Festivities begin at 1 p.m. in the Grove Place Park. It's put together every year by the Grove Place Action Committee. It's a local holiday, so many banks, local government offices, and retail stores will be closed. In addition to the Grove Place event, a documentary about Jackson will be shown at 7 p.m. also on Friday at the United Caribbean Association Kitchen in Frederiksted. The Virgin Islands Etiquette and Leadership Institute, established in 2006 as a vehicle for teaching skills that most of us forget about or never even learn sometimes, all about etiquette. Founder Lisa Wynn Magnuson has been an educator for over 10 years and believes that along with academic skills, students need to learn proper social behavior. Now, after 6 weeks of classes, these students received their certificate of completion this past Saturday at the Twisted Cork in Frenchtown during a ceremonial lunch.
They left learning, and confidence is something that we have to practice, and they left with that. Every day they came home, I know they came home excited to show you what it is they've got. As a matter of fact, this is one of the binders the students get to keep when they become a student at the Institute. It's two-folded. In this binder you have the social etiquette part, and then you also have the dining part. They get to keep this for the rest of their life. It's a resource guide. Manners, dining won't change. Those basic things, teaching people respect, consideration, and honesty, those things will always be fundamental keys to us as human beings. So your child has this, and they're going to keep this forever.
And congratulations to all the graduates and Miss Lisa Wynn Magnuson. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.